Alright, I've got a confession to make. When I first did the unboxing video of the T598 and took a first look at the wheel supplied with it, I dismissed it as kind of pretty poor quality. I did criticise it for its bad finish. I mean, there are some flaws with it. I mean, the actual plasticky feel of it is not that great, and it's got the lip around the edges where you can actually feel the moulding and things like that. So I kind of dismissed it as a kind of cheap bundle sort of throw-in, just to get the package complete for Thrustmaster, knowing that, you know, a lot of people maybe would have other wheels, such as this one, for example. It's a 599 Ferrari XX Evo wheel, and it's very, very nice. But I thought that when I started using the T598, I would instantly swap for this wheel. It's the same size. It's got the equivalent amount of buttons when all is said and done, when you consider what they do, and it's a much better quality wheel. It feels really, really nice. It's got the nice Alcantara finish. It's Ferrari branded. The quality of the actual wheel itself is really, really nice, and it's a nice hefty weight. But what's happened is, in all the time I've been using my T598, even though I have actually fixed the upgrade to it as well, so I can just switch this over as quickly and easily as any other wheel, I have never actually used this wheel since I've had the one which I basically said was a bit of a cheap plasticky rubbish throw-in version with a bundle. But why is that? Well, initially I did think it was a bit plasticky and cheap feeling, and I still stand by that. It does. It's got a sort of that cheap plasticky sort of feel, and like I said, it's got that moulding thing around the edge where you can actually feel it, and I can even get my thumbnail in there. But other things about the wheel are actually really, really good. It's actually very strong. If I take it off, even though it's lightweight, I can't really flex it. It's actually very, very strong. So it holds up to full force feedback from the T598, and even in those strenuous sessions, it's actually a very, very strong wheel with very little flex. I can, you know, it takes a lot to even think about moving this thing, which is the same on the Ferrari one. This is like very strong. In fact, if anything, I can flex this easier, if you can hear that, than I can what I said was the cheap bundled one with it, which is a bit of a surprise. But the best wheel is the one which you naturally gravitate towards when playing a game. Now, like I said, I can change over to this one as easily as I could to the supplied one, whatever I like. But I just keep on using this one, and one of the main reasons is it's got all the buttons in all the right places, and it just makes sense when you use it. Yes, you can still use this one, and the buttons are still obviously easily pressable during a game, but you kind of have to remember what they are and what they do. Where on this, they're labelled like XO, square, a triangle. You've got things like the PlayStation button and things like that, and it just works when you're playing a game. And it's also very good if you play VR as well, because certain buttons are raised. The L2 and R2 are raised slightly above square and X, and the triangle and the O button are lower than both of those ones. They literally go high to medium to low on their positioning, which means during VR, where you can't actually see the wheel, it's actually very natural and intuitive to actually know which button you're about to press, which is really, really good. And on the other buttons, the PlayStation one's in the middle, which you can feel as well, and you've got the options button and the other button on the bottom row as well, either side. The PlayStation button, so again, even in VR, it's really, really easy to actually locate the buttons without actually seeing the wheel, which is a big, big plus. And the only thing I would say which is a little bit better maybe on this one, for me anyways, is obviously my opinion, is I do like the D-pad on this. It's a proper D-pad and it feels pretty nice. Where on the supplied wheel that's with the 598, it's a kind of a 4-button D-pad arrangement, but it still kind of works in a very similar kind of way. The one area where I'd say the 599XX Evo wheel is definitely better, apart from its look, which is obviously subjective and to each person, but one thing which is definitely better is its actual feel. That nice Alcantara feel, or the leather finish, whichever one you've got, does feel really nice, and the materials are very premium. It's got a nice metal gear shifter there. This is like a plasticky one. Now the finish is kind of lost in a way as well if you wear gloves. I mean, if you don't wear gloves, it's absolutely fine, because obviously you can feel that nice Alcantara finish, or the leather one, whichever one you've got, and that's a ton load better than this rubbery sort of feel of this one. It's, you know, if you don't wear gloves, then that is a much better wheel to hold. That may still swing it for you. But if you wear gloves, which I do when playing racing games pretty much all the time, just because it's a bit more racy, and as well as that, it actually takes away this lesser quality finish of the bundled wheel with the 598. This, you know, cheap rubber, this plastic here, it's gone. You don't actually feel that anymore when wearing gloves, because obviously your gloves are hiding that. So you're holding this wheel, it feels pretty much every bit as good as holding this one. You can maybe just feel the slight softness of this one ever so slightly through the gloves, but when holding this one, you're kind of looking for it, you're kind of trying to tell the difference, and if you just hold both of them naturally without actually looking at it, barely any difference. I probably wouldn't be able to tell which one I was holding from one to the next unless I moved my hands around, and maybe I might then be able to say, oh, okay, this one feels a bit more slidey because of the Alcantara. But apart from that, wearing gloves actually takes away the bad thing about this, really, which is its actual material finish and that rubber and the plastic. So if you wear gloves, it's another good thing about this. But do make sure that you wear gloves which are non-abrasive type. These are very soft racing gloves that don't cause any unnatural wear or abrasive effects on the rubber or the plastic, because if you wear the abrasive type racing gloves and they do cause abnormal wear, that's not covered by your Thrustmaster guarantee, so do be aware of that. So to wrap up, I was very wrong about this wheel. It's actually my go-to wheel now. I've got this one. I never use it. I put this adapter on the back. I could use this whenever I want, as easily as this one, but this is the one that I naturally go to. All the buttons are in the right place, they're labelled, I don't have to remember which ones they are. It's very strong, and it's actually lighter than this Ferrari wheel as well, which means I actually feel some better force feedback vibrations through this wheel than this one. So it's another win for this. And to cap it all off, it's even better in VR, because the way these buttons are raised and things like that, you can actually tell which buttons you're about to press without actually looking at the wheel, which is another really good thing about it. So yes, it may have a bit of a cheap look about it, and the finish is not fantastic, and the build quality on the moulding is a bit poor, but it's a strong wheel, it's a light wheel, and it's got all the buttons in exactly the right place, and it's the one that I use with my T598. Well, I'm using a traditional type round wheel. But there's a video. If you enjoyed it, it'd be really cool if you bash that like and subscribe button. It really does help. But most of all, thanks for watching. Catch you again in the next one. Bye for now.